Alright, so I guess this is gonna have a little different feel because my ass is tired. So I'm not super high energy. It's like the end of my day, but I was thinking about this and figured I would share it. So first off, INTJs, man, I think they are like hidden gems in the dating world, whether it's a guy or a girl. INTJs, INTPs as well. Actually, they're like two of my favorite types for sure. I mean, probably because there's a lot of similarities, but INTJs, like when it comes to dating, they're not for the faint of heart. Like, you have to understand what you're getting. It's not for somebody that needs a lot of affirmation. It's not somebody that needs a lot of communication or reassurance. INTJs are super, super much about action. Like, if you have an INTJ that is paying attention to you, calling you, texting you, responding to texts, putting in an effort, that's a big deal. They'd rather probably be sitting home eating gummy bears and drinking wine by themselves than talk to just somebody they don't give a shit about. So that's the thing right there. I used to live with this INTJ girl, and I left the house one day, and this, like, to me, just sums up INTJs in dating one. I left the house one day, and I was like, I love you. She was like, I love you too. And I left, did my thing, whatever, and like a day or two later, I leave, and I'm like, I love you. She doesn't say shit. She's just like, all right, see you later. I'm like, all right, whatever. A couple days later, I leave the house. I'm like, I love you. And now I'm not somebody that says I love you to hear it in return, but you know, I just thought it was funny, like for like a week. And then I say this every once in a while, and she doesn't say a thing. So I'm like, I just needed clarification, you know. So I was like, so what's going on? I'm like, the last like whatever number of days I left, I told you I love you. You didn't say anything back. She's like, I told you I love you last week. If something changes, I'll let you know. And it cracked me up. Like, it made me feel pretty safe. Like, she was blunt. She would have told me. She would have been like, I don't like you anymore. But I don't know. I thought it was cute. And it's something I really appreciate. Like, INTJs just don't bullshit. So you're not, you know, it's funny because you might not even get a response to a text that you think's important. And you might be like, if you're just starting to date an INTJ, you might be wondering like, why aren't they texting me? What's going on? Did they lose interest? You might be like me. You might go back over your text. You ever do that where you like go over it and you look for what you said? You're like, did I type something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Did I do something that would have made them like pissed off? But INTJs will get a text and one of two things will happen, or three things. They'll either read it, think about responding and forget and just not do it. But they don't permanently forget. They'll respond like 24 hours later or a week or some random shit where you forgot you even sent the text. Or they'll look at it and they'll just scan it for things that they'll just be like, is there anything important? Is there anything I need to respond to right now? Is there anything I need to say? No, no, no. Okay. And they'll put the phone back down and go back on about their business. Sometimes if INTJ is like pretty mature, they'll kind of know about the banter. And if you tell them, that's like the cool thing too. If you say, hey, this thing's important to me, like when I respond, you know, I know you don't necessarily need to hear about my day, but could we figure out this compromise? They're like really accommodating. INTJs are funny because they're rule followers until the rule doesn't really serve them well, and then they're just like, fuck that rule. So as long as like you're asking something within reason and they understand it, it makes sense to them, and it seems like reasonable, they'll do it. So that's awesome. Girls, like, just appreciate the shit out of an INTJ, dude. If you have one, don't expect like a lot of communication. It's the same if you're a dude trying to date a female INTJ, or you're a female trying to date a male INTJ, they're not big communicators. Like, they're not going to communicate to you the way that you might want, and don't put pressure on them to be what you want. Just appreciate the shit out of what they are, because what they are is pretty awesome. So there's that. You might not know if a INTJ likes you, and that's like can be confusing, because you could go out like 5 or 6 times. It's actually funny, the INTJ that I was talking about that I lived with, after we broke up, she was dating this INFJ dude, and they were out like on their 7th date. Now, when her and I dated, I always ask, like, I'm like, we're in a relationship. You want to be my girlfriend? All right, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. But introverts is a whole different breed. So she's out with this INFJ dude, and it was like the 6th or 7th time they had gone out with each other, and they were out to meet his family. Like, they were having dinner with his family, and it dawned on her then. She's like, is this a date? Are we dating? I think we're dating. Like, I think we're in a relationship. And there was like no clarity. It was just this moment where she like realized, shit, I think I'm in a relationship right now. So that's like pretty accurate. You might go out with INTJ like 10 times and just end up in a relationship, like just somehow by default. I don't like talking about feelings. Don't talk about feelings. Like, you can get some shit, you can get some basics for sure, but just don't like bog them down with a bunch of emotions. They're actually like really sensitive. They're emotional. They'll appreciate like anything sweet or caring that you do, or romantic or whatever. They just aren't great at expressing that shit. So there's that. So just remember to remember to love them the way that they need to be loved, and explain to them how you need to be loved, or what you need to feel safe. But I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Anyway, I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And all right. Good night.